Hey guys, welcome back to WODdoc Project 365, episode 1299. One episode from 1300. Guys, if you're following along on YouTube, please jump on over to WODdoc.com. Check out all of our full-length videos. That's where we house them. Yesterday we started handstand progressions through doing headstands. And I said that it's imperative to be able to do a headstand because what we're trying to do is get more and more and more reps of body awareness while we're inverted. And it makes sense to do it with the largest area of support, our head and two hands, before we try to do it with just the smallest area of support, just our hands. So today what we're doing is we're showing you the first progression to getting into a forearm stand. And we're actually still doing a headstand, but rather than supporting with our hands and our head, we're going to support with our forearms and our head. I do suggest starting this against the wall because we have less of an ability to react or counter if we start to fall over, like over top of ourselves, and we don't want to be able to fall over top of our back where we might possibly cause an injury. So I got the wall set up here. I'm going to show you in both ways. I'm going to show you against the wall, and then I'm going to show you on a profile view so you see what else I'm doing there. Okay. So here's where we're at. Remember yesterday? Okay. Remember yesterday I talked about using this towel as a triangle, right? So my head is the support in the middle and my hands are to the outside right here. So I'm just going to review that, okay? And remember, I want my center of gravity to be on this side, so I always have more weight on my hands than I do on my head, okay? So my first thing is, if I can do this and I can do it well, walk myself up, come up into my headstand, well, that's great. Now I can move on to the next position. What I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to put my hands to where that triangle would form. It's right here, okay? Now, my elbows are where my hands were, okay? And my hands come to where my head basically meets, all right? Let me show you this against the wall. I'll be right here. I'm going to walk up in the same direction, but now I have the wall to stop me, okay? So if I flop over top, I'm just going to run into the wall. Now, it takes a little bit to find your balance here. You might have to find your elbow position. But this is our first position that we're going to practice to be able to get into our forearm stand. For some of you guys, this might be really hard using getting onto your elbows because it takes a lot more shoulder mobility. But it's the same shoulder mobility you're going to need when you go up and overhead onto your handstand. So it's a good idea to start practicing this now. If you need trouble or if you need help because you have trouble with shoulder flexion, check back in some of the other videos that I might have. Okay, so I'm going to show you this from the side just so you can see. My head is in the same position. My elbows replaced where my hands were. Okay, so my hands were here. My elbows are now where my hands were. My hands are now basically to the outsides of my head. I'm going to walk up in that same position, and I'm going to get into that same position where I was. Now, I have more pressure on my elbows than I do on my head. Okay, just like before, I had more pressure on my hands than I did on my head. So that way I'm always kind of falling towards my feet. As I get better in that position, as my body awareness becomes better, as I stay tight within here, as I drive my heels towards the ceiling, and I get away from that sit-up position where my butt comes out a little bit or my back arches a little bit. That's how I know I can progress to the next stages. But you need more and more and more reps, guys, in this position of being inverted on a much less stable position, a much less stable surface than on our feet, okay? So we're inverting that position and learning where our body awareness has to be as we're building strength upside down and gaining body awareness. Questions, comments, please post them below, guys, and we're here each and every day. So until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.